My name is Andrea Jones. I am pregnant and I am starving right now. I am in the United States of America. Currently, I am in Texas. I am in the city of Houston, Texas, in the Greens Point area. September 2018, my children's father, a white male named Austin John Meador, was assaulting me in my apartment in Conroe, Texas, and he ran me out of my home screaming for the police. I had contacted the Conroe Police Department and told them that he had been assaulting me repeatedly inside of my apartment unit in Conroe, Texas at 1308 Houston Street, apartment 3, Conroe, Texas. I went into a restaurant called Baytown Seafood Restaurant at the corner of Fraser Street and Houston Street, the street where I lived, asking a male inside of the establishment if he would call 911. And he called 911. I had my child, Melbourne Halo Meador, in my arms that was 22 months old. I was also pregnant with the child that is still alive in me, and today is April 30th, 2024, which is why I am making this video showing you all these license plate numbers. As I was waiting for the police with the manager at Baytown Seafood Restaurant, my children's father, Austin John Meador, Caucasian male, came into the restaurant and he started assaulting me inside of the restaurant in front of the manager and assaulting my child, my little boy that was 22 months old, Melbourne Halo Meador. He was born October 28th, 2016. Austin John Meador had been released from prison on an assault conviction July 10th, 2018, and he contacted me before his release from prison for assault, asking me if I would give him permission to come to my residence. Austin John Meador had been convicted for assault, and he had been arrested from my same apartment unit, 1308 Houston Street, in December of 2016. My little boy, Melbourne Halo Meador, was only about maybe 5 weeks old. So Austin John Meador went to prison from my apartment unit where I had to contact police about him ransacking my home and abusing Melbourne Halo Meador and I inside of my unit while Melbourne Halo Meador was a newborn. So he was taken to prison in December 2016. He was in Texas prisons in 2017 and he was released in July 2018, where he asked me could he come back to my apartment unit in Conroe, Texas, where he had been arrested from before he had gone to prison for the assault charge. Austin John Meador wrote me several letters pleading with me that he would not abuse me anymore. My son, Melbourne Halo Meador, was being abused in my womb while I was pregnant with him, where Austin John Meador put me in the hospital while I was pregnant with Melbourne Halo Meador several times at Conroe Regional Hospital and at the Woodlands Hospital in the Woodlands, Texas, and Conroe Regional Hospital in Conroe, Texas. My little boy, Melbourne Halo Meador, was born October 28th, 2016, inside of Conroe Regional Hospital in Conroe, Texas, and he could not breathe. He almost died because Austin John Meador had been attacking me while pregnant with Melbourne Halo Meador. So when Melbourne Halo Meador was brought home from the hospital, he was abusing him and he was only a newborn. And I had to have him removed from my residence, and he was arrested by Conroe police and he was convicted off of a felony probation where he had already been on a felony probation for assault. While he was in the prison, he was deemed a threat to public safety and denied parole, where I was hesitant to allow him to come back to my residence, but I did bring our son to see him while he was in prison, and he was promising that he would not hit us anymore. And they called me saying that the jail staff needed permission for him to come to my residence once he was released on the assault charge of conviction. I told him that only if he would not hit us or be violent in my residence that I would allow him to come back to my apartment unit at apartment 3, 1308 Houston Street, Conroe, Texas. This is where he also had been arrested December 2016 when he went to prison. So they had the records that he was violent. He destroyed my entire apartment unit. While Austin Meador was in prison, his mother, Cynthia Olvera, got Ku Klux Klan members to start surrounding me inside of my home, where they were retaliating against Melbourne Halo Meador and I inside of our home and around the area for having Austin John Meador convicted for assault. This made it very unsafe in my neighborhood for my little boy and I. I made police reports to no avail. The police would not help us, and I was forced to purchase a 380 handgun from a academy. It is a store in Conroe, Texas that sells guns and ammunition. Cynthia Olvera and Austin John Meador were having Ku Klux Klan members surrounding my home at all hours of the night, and they were chasing me around the area in a vehicle that I possessed at the time, a white Grand Am. I raised Melbourne Halo Meador inside of the two-bedroom apartment unit in Conroe, Texas, apartment 3. From the time that Austin John Meador went to prison in December 2016, I raised him the entire year of 2017 by myself in the residence, and I also raised him 2018 up until Austin John Meador was released from prison July 10th, 2018. Austin John Meador had 2 warrants when he was released on the assault charge from a Texas prison. These charges were from previous charges that Austin John Meador had. Austin John Meador had been charged with theft, drug possession, trespassing, with rape, with several assault charges where he was placed on a 2-year felony probation and he was ultimately convicted for assault. When Austin John Meador was being released on the charges for the assault charge conviction and the probation violation for the assault charge conviction, Austin John Meador had a warrant for drug possession, and he also had a warrant for theft. When Austin John Meador needed to be released from prison, his mother, Cynthia Olvera, contacted me, and they both asked me if I would contact the Conroe Police Department and the Montgomery County Police Department to see if I could advocate for Austin John Meador to have the warrants dropped for them to try to get him time served for the drug possession charge and the theft charge in order for him to be released from prison. I contacted the police departments on behalf of Austin John Meador and his mother, Cynthia Olvera, to advocate for him to have those warrants dropped so that he could come to my home and rehabilitate himself back into society. So, being that he was in a correctional facility, I felt that the behavior of violence would have been corrected. I was informed that he would have a support system from his mother, Cynthia Olvera, and from his father, Joseph Olvera, to rehabilitate himself back into society. Within a week of Austin John Meador being released from prison, he started raping me the first night that he was released from prison. And he got me pregnant. He started hitting me. He destroyed my entire apartment unit. By August of 2018, I was pregnant by Austin John Meador. By the next month, September 2018, I was running out of my apartment unit pregnant with this little baby bleeding. And I had Melbourne Halo Meador in my arms screaming for the police. I had the 380 handgun in my purse because he was assaulting me and he was stopping me from calling 911. He also was abusing my 22-month-old little boy, and he was barricading me in the apartment, locking me inside of my apartment and attacking me in my living room and throughout my home. He was also attacking me with my son in my arms, and he was assaulting my child. When Austin John Meador came into Baytown Seafood Restaurant and began assaulting me and my son inside of the Baytown Seafood Restaurant in Conroe, Texas, the manager struggled with him to try to get him to stop assaulting us, and I struggled with him to try to get him to stop assaulting us, and I was forced to protect myself and my children, and I shot him in the leg. I put the gun to his leg and I shot him in his leg in self-defense of me and my children. The Conroe Police Department arrested me September 18, 2018, and they lied about all of the evidence and said that I was not pregnant inside of the jail. They allowed Austin John Meador and his mother to gang rape my little boy, Melbourne Halo Meador, to death with the Ku Klux Klan, and the Conroe Police Department joined in to gang rape him to death with the Ku Klux Klan and the Black Freemason Brotherhood. They had a judge named Tracy Gilbert in a family courtroom give them a falsified, illegitimate, fraudulent document saying that they had custody of Melbourne Halo Meador, and then they starved me and tried to murder me before my trial date. God said that they were never supposed to arrest me. They starved me pregnant inside of the jail up until August 22nd, 2019, where I was released at a pretrial on all charges. They lied and said that I was not pregnant inside of the medical infirmary, inside of the Montgomery County jail. The investigator that had been allowing them and that is still allowing the country to lie about my pregnancy is Sheriff Jim McDougal from the Montgomery County jurisdiction here in Texas. They had Conroe Regional Hospital in Conroe, Texas, while I was in the jail, confirmed that I was pregnant, but lie about the pregnancy and send me back into the jail for them to starve me before I was released on all of the charges with this baby alive in me. Expectation Studios here in Houston, Texas, lied about my ultrasound for the KKK in 2019 when I was released. Hospitals in Baytown, Texas, lied about my pregnancy for the KKK in 2019, and Chambers County Clinic in Anahuac, Texas, lied about my pregnancy for the KKK. In 2020, the Houston Area Women's Center and the Star of Hope refused me into the women's shelters so that Houston police could try to starve the baby to death outside. The staff at St. Luke's Hospital here in Houston, Texas, they attempted to try to kill the baby, and they lied about the pregnancy on discharge papers in 2020. This is video evidence showing the baby kicking alive in me in 160 videos. I went to Bentop Hospital. Okay, they are pulling up on me in the midst of me recording the information. This individual. So this is gang stuff. This is why I have their license plate numbers in the video. When I went to Bentop Hospital, I asked them to do a ultrasound, and they refused on camera to give me an ultrasound. And they were plotting as I was loading the videos on YouTube, showing what they were doing during my hospital visit. And I was forced to leave the hospital without getting the medical care. God has confirmed to me that based off of the videos that are on social media, that Bentop Hospital has confirmed now that I am pregnant, but now they are doing an operation with the entire country to try to starve me pregnant outside, and they are having ambulances doing the operation instead of coming to pick me up and bring me to the hospital to get the medical care to get the baby out. I started a YouTube channel, which resulted in over 24 YouTube channels up to date in 2020, showing that they were starving me pregnant outside, attempting to cover up that they abducted my little boy. They are coming around doing noise operations as I am recording the video. That they abducted my little boy. They're surrounding me right now. Everybody is coming and surrounding me on foot and in vehicles. That they abducted my little boy and that they were starving my pregnancy. They attempted to set me up to be murdered with Houston police. And I was forced to go to Little Rock, Arkansas, where they attempted to set me up to be murdered with Arkansas police in an attempt to cover up my pregnancy, and that they had abducted my child to rape and kill my child for racism. I went to Atlanta, Georgia, and I was accepted into the Salvation Army. I purchased and recorded the baby's heartbeat with a fetal heart monitor. And once I started posting the baby's heartbeat on my social media platforms, I was forced out of the women's shelter by the staff. They were threatening to try to beat me up to try to kill the baby with Atlanta police. I left the shelter grounds with the fetal heart monitor, and they attempted to starve the baby to death in my womb up until the end of 2021, and I came back to Houston, Texas with the baby alive in me. I was able to record the baby's heartbeat recordings and post them on social media from February 2021 up until December 2021. The Star of Hope Women's Shelter and the Houston Area Women's Center, they continue to deny me into the shelters for the Houston police to starve my pregnancy outside, and for them to try to cover up that they were raping my little boy to death with his father, Austin John Meador, the white male who I shot in self-defense, and with his mother, Cynthia Olvera, who was in the Ku Klux Klan. The Montgomery County Women's Shelter, the emergency women's shelter in Conroe, Texas, they are involved with a police report that I filed on Cynthia Olvera, murder charges for her raping my child to death, with framing me on the streets of Conroe, Texas, where my apartment unit was and where I shot him in self-defense, so that the Conroe police could try to set me up to be murdered with the United States of America pregnant outside. I was forced to come back to Houston, Texas in 2022. The baby was still alive in me, and the Houston Area Women's Center and the Star of Hope were continuing to refuse me into the shelter so that they could continue to starve my pregnancy in an attempt to try to starve this baby to death. Houston police and the Houston fire departments, they starved my pregnancy the entire year of 2022. And coming into 2023, they starved my pregnancy the entire year of 2023. Coming into 2024, God has made several announcements in front of the entire country that I am about to be paid a $250 million lawsuit settlement. This settlement is combined of two lawsuits. I have a $70 million lawsuit, God says, about Cynthia Olvera and Austin John Meador raping my little boy to death with the KKK. And God says that I have a $180 million lawsuit about my pregnancy being abused from my apartment, where the entire country has lied and abused my pregnancy for racism because I protected myself from Austin John Meador. The investigator, Sheriff Jim McDougal, found out the evidence that I was protecting myself, and he got me released on the charges with the help of my lawyer and with me representing myself in court. But investigator Sheriff Jim McDougal did not turn over the evidence that I was pregnant inside of the Montgomery County jail, and he never turned over the evidence that I was pregnant, and he is attempting to go on the run as the entire country has been starving my baby, trying to starve my baby to death from the jail, and they are also attempting to get away with raping my child to death. My lawyer was a white woman named Inger H. Chandler, and she is involved with gang raping my child to death with the KKK and starving my pregnancy for racism, although I was released on all of the charges. God showed me that the country would go to great lengths to try to cover up my pregnancy, including trying to have black males assassinate me, and my investigator, Sheriff Jim McDougal, to try to cover up the evidence about my pregnancy, that I am pregnant, and that they have been abusing my pregnancy since September 18, 2018 to date, April 30th, 2024. Last year, in August of 2023, God told me to go to a hospital to talk to them about getting the baby out. I went to Texas Children's Women's Pavilion, and I recorded the fetal movement while I was inside of the hospital, and I was posting the videos on my channels, as I always do during my hospital visits, in hopes that they would do right by me to give me the medical care to get the baby out. And they gave me an ultrasound on video, and then they lied about my pregnancy on camera for Crips Gang. And God said they did it for Crips Gang, a midwife named Robin, in conspiracy with the labor and delivery staff at Texas Children's Women's Pavilion here in Houston, Texas, and with a doctor named Jacob Kowinski. Right now, the entire country is doing a gang operation for me not to have any food on U.S. soil, where people are denying me the food and they are starving me pregnant outside with the Houston Police Department. There are gang members who are high ranking here in the country that are involved with the operation that are famous millionaires in the country. They are attempting to try to stop me from getting a $250 million settlement about my pregnancy and about my child being raped to death. They still have the fraudulent custody document saying that Cynthia Olvera and Austin John Meador have custody of my child, that they were gang raping to death with the KKK and the Conroe Police Department. So this entire time that I have been being framed pregnant to be starved on the streets, the Houston police and the military have been doing an operation to try to make me appear as if I were an unfit mother, to ruin my image and to say that they have custody of my child. So they are trying to cover up raping my child with these celebrities who are millionaires that are gang members, saying that they are Satanists. Gang member Cardi B is involved with Cynthia Olvera, that is a gang member, to help them to starve me pregnant outside with gangs and to help them lie on me in court for their gangs to rape my little boy to death, and then all together cover up where my child's body is. Rapper Kanye West is a millionaire rapper here in the country whose real name is Kanye Omari West, is involved with the operation with Donald Trump. Donald Trump was in office when the Ku Klux Klan started gang raping my child, and he was only 2 years old. Rapper Kanye Omari West is involved with the entire country doing a gang operation that is national for them to starve me pregnant outside and to attempt to try to make me appear as if I could not have custody of my son. Rapper Kanye Omari West is involved with attempting to kill the baby that is alive in me with these gangs. And rapper Kanye Omari West is attempting to help these gangs get away with hiding my little boy's body and framing me as if I did not have custody, which would ultimately result in me being murdered outside in order for them to try to cover up the pregnancy and raping my child. This is why I am making this video, to tell that Kanye Omari West is a high-ranking gang member here in the country that is attempting to set me up to be murdered with former President Donald Trump. Donald Trump has a long history of racism and is heavily affiliated with a white gang brotherhood called the Ku Klux Klan. Millionaire rapper Nicki Minaj, whose real name is Onika Maraj, she is a gang member that is high ranking here in the United States of America, that is helping Cynthia Olvera to cover up where my little boy's body is here in the United States of America. Rapper Nicki Minaj, whose real name is Onika Tanya Mirage, was heavily involved with them abusing my baby in my womb from inside of the Montgomery County jail up until today, where she is continuing to do operations with gang members all over the country to try to starve my baby to death in an attempt to try to stop me from getting the baby out. God has shown me that I need to be given a cervical dilation drug that will dilate my cervix in order for me to be able to give birth. Onika Tanya Mirage, also known as rapper Nicki Minaj, is attempting to try to have me murdered if they cannot starve the baby to death in my womb. And I would like for her to be charged on a national gang indictment when I am delivered by my God. When I receive my multi-million dollar settlement, I would also like to press charges on Nevadius Wilburn. He is a rapper who goes by the name of Future here in the United States of America. They are Satanists and they are gang members that have been helping Cynthia Olvera to gang rape my little boy to death and then hide his body. They are attempting to set me up to be murdered in an attempt to try to starve the baby to death.